Good morning. Yes, happy Monday. All right, let's get some charts up here. Wait a second here.
Is today the hearing?
Yeah, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Dan? Uh, okay, cool. All right. Chart. I was looking for the little green band around the charts. I didn't see it. I was clicking to see YouTube that is actually up. All right, I'll assume it is. Let's see here. Turn off the voice. Yeah, I see it. Okay, cool. All right. So, thing was titled "The Uncertainty That Hung Over the Market Is Over." Well, the uncertainty was about rate cuts. Now we see the rate cut. Done deal, and another quarter point is factored in. Prior to that, we were talking about the drop in the 13-week, falling, 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 and we assumed it'd be half a point. Turned out to be half a point. It's done. Market did whatever it's going to do, and so now we'll go on to something new to be uncertain about. But that being the case, let's take a peek around the markets, and we've got new all-time highs. Fantastic. There's nothing to stop it from going up. Whatever economic reports are going to come out, it would have to be something so bad to shake this market. And of course, that's always the risk. And if there was total certainty, right, we'd go all in and without any stop loss, and, we'd do great. But there's always something that could rattle the markets. Nonetheless, cleared all these pivot highs. We look at the technicals. There was a little congestion, went nowhere pretty much at the end of the week. Now, as we go through, not that we're going to go through a whole bunch of charts here as we do in the letter, but just looking at a few indices, what we see is that things are extended a little bit short term. Nothing terrible. Thing is, there was this huge whipsaw volatility back and forth. So when we talk extended, we generally look what's the distance to prior, um, what was resistance becomes support. And so it's really not that extended. It's just really whippy and erratic. But that was all of the uncertainty. That's over. Should be able to go higher. What does that mean? Buy pullbacks, look for correction bars, look for some kind of sideways consolidation, look for things like semiconductors that showed relative weakness that could play some catch up, and other markets that produce patterns that tell us that prices could go higher. Okay? So just looking around, as we always do, see, do we have agreement between markets? Dow, new all-time highs. Major support, the pivot low prior to a higher high. What was resistance should become support. We call this minor support. We call the pivot low major support. Somewhere in between should be the sweet spot if things begin to pull back. Somewhere in there, a lot of times the 20 MA lines up with that. And so that's what we'd be looking for. So short-term extended, nothing significant, normal pullbacks into an area like this. Yep. Or I would say election is uncertainty. Well, they're always uncertainty, right? Look at what happened a couple of years ago. It looked like it was in the bag, and then, shock and 4 years of turmoil, pain, and such. So, yeah. So transports, nasty move. Primarily FedEx, but some of the truckers pull in. So this is kind of like the fly in the ointment of the bullish case. Um, it made this peak over the highs and it came back in again. And, it's in the middle of the range. We'll see how this survives or not. We'll keep an eye on some of the transports like the rails and see if transportation stocks begin to stabilize and what they're going to do. Um, let's look at SPX for a moment. And this is, when the markets move up like that, none of the strikes got even close last Friday. But now, is it going to get up there today? I don't think so. Like I said, things are a little extended. Could it come down here? I think so, and it wouldn't damage anything. But if you do this put spread and it comes down there, yeah, you're going to get damaged because that's pretty darn close. It's uncomfortable, to be that close, especially if things are short term extended. Yeah, I know, but I know the middle, there's always that uncertainty. It's not like, don't take this slide literally that, don't assume that there's no risk, but the uncertainty related to interest rates and the cut and so on is over. So, you know, the options expiration is over. I saw what you typed about what was in Barron's about the week after options expiration tends to be a brutal thing. Maybe it will be. Of course, when we use words like brutal, we have to define, well, what is brutal? You know, a 3% correction in a week, I guess that could be brutal because some stocks would probably get hit pretty hard. But we never look at things as there's no risk. So um, yeah, put things in perspective. So I don't think it's going up there today. It's a little extended, as I said. NASDAQ 100, this is the underperformer. It's up against this resistance. Sometime last week where I showed this chart and we talked about the contraction in volatility, and a couple of weeks ago in the advisory letter, I talked about similarly the contraction in volatility, and that after the options expiration, we'd get some direction, and then ideally, and the interest rate cut, we would get prices to begin to trend. So that's what we're going to be looking for, this week as to what kind of consolidation may happen, a little pullback. Can it start to trend higher at this point? And things that showed relative weakness is what we're going to be looking for to play some catch up. And some semiconductors, of course, I reviewed some in the weekend letter where some are showing relative strength, others showing relative weakness. Intel, of course. Is it amazing that news this morning? What was it? Was it Oracle? Oracle or QCOM offering to buy Intel? Who'd ever thought Intel could be bought? I mean, that was the blue chip, the semiconductor stock. And it's just another example how things change. Remember, General Electric was the dog of the dogs. Now it's back with a vengeance. Um, I don't know that Intel is ever coming back with a vengeance, but there you go. Um, keep an eye on financials. They're up against this resistance area there, but a deep, move up there, major support. Let's see if it chops around a little bit. It can go higher. Um, Bitcoin, I think, might be ready to do something here. It's still in a trading range, but it held this low, deep retracement. Like many things, we need correction bars. Right? Correction bars where it gaps down or it goes down and forms a bottoming tail bar and comes back up again. We'll be looking for some of that in many of the markets. Gold, new all-time highs. I guess there's some inflation concerns out there. We'll see. I mean, what is this meaning? I mean, it always means inflation, or it means that there's risk. And of course, there's the risk of these wars, but maybe it's two things. I mean, this is going up. It was consolidating here. We talked about it back then, and now it's broken out, new all-time highs. We'll see where it's going to go. Silver, up against some resistance there, but this should definitely be where we got to keep an eye on for a catch-up trade. So I'm chopping around here and can do the ETF. It's not ready yet, but there should be a catch-up trade there coming. So it's up against this resistance area there. And so we'll be keeping an eye on it every day. Oil. Now, one of the things I mentioned in the weekend letter was if this could keep going up, it might, it's at the bottom of the range. We reviewed that at the time. Buyers should step up there. And if this should, it may be the end to an amazing recovery in these airline stocks. So definitely, fantastic strength to a collapse like that, and then just a grind higher. It's up against this resistance area here. So if oil was to go up, maybe we'd have some call spread candidates. When things move up like this, we're not looking for directional shorts. It would take some time, like a double top develop. But if it was to gap down, that's something we need to keep an eye on. If oil goes up, you could have opportunities here, at least for call spreads and maybe intraday shorts on some airlines that are extended. The Russell, you definitely want to see this hold up. It's kind of risk off, risk on, speculative stocks. And can they hold up here and break out to new all-time highs? That would, excuse me, not all-time highs, but, something over the last couple of years. But if this could start to move up, that would be another measure of the uncertainty is over. Another measure of that could be, have that in here. I just don't see it anyway. XBI. What's more speculative than biotech stocks? Deep retracement up against resistance. If it can clear these highs, it's got lots of room. Keep an eye on that. We will be. Mid cap. Same story. Sharp move up at resistance, likely to pull back or consolidate, and so on. So this is a theme for right this moment where a lot of things moved up nicely. Can we get a correction bar where they go higher, or do they pull back? And then we've got the end of the month, beginning of the month, as we get into October. And lastly, I'm going to look at our internals, which I was a bit surprised they didn't push up to an extreme with that move. So there's this, let's just call it still some of this uncertainty, because if there was total certainty, the option traders would have loaded up on calls. They didn't do that. But let's look at total put call ratio. That's not into the upper bands either. So there is that level of a comfortable level of uncertainty, not crazy uncertainty, which was causing all of this whipsaw. So this is what we'll be keeping an eye on in the coming days as to what kind of little correction areas occur. And what are you saying? Percentage above the 2050 are at extreme levels. Not often you see that. Well, I saw in TC 2000 that it measures percentage above the 40, and I saw that was at an extreme. The 200 really wasn't. So we've got these different measures that say, hey, things have the possibility to move even higher than they are. In the short term, some prices are extended where some type of corrective action is likely to happen. And maybe we get a little upside where these internals reach an extreme and we get the signal, or the equity put call ratio comes up there. This is already marginally into the bearish area. But if this could push up, we get those signals that we rely on. So everything isn't totally aligned just yet, but it's close, to say, hey, don't get too aggressive on the long side here, because it isn't. Look, if we get setups in individual stocks, we're going to trade them. But as we talk about the broader markets and the possibility for, there's that opportunity to continue higher, I would say it isn't today, which leads to that call spread on SPX, or if there's premium in SPY, that's something to look at today. Other than that, it's going to be individual stocks and markets. All yours, Dan.
Sound check. All right. All right, cool. Yeah, that's a perfect lead in, and we have plenty of beautiful setups here. More than I imagined, actually. With the help of Alex and Sammy Boy, always giving ideas. So we'll go through my alarms, etc. Watch list. And let me get Raul first. Meow, animal sector. Yep, sell setup in a downtrend. Now, the only thing that would make that better, Raul, is if this whole thing were up a little bit more at that minor resistance. That's all. Because it could trigger and and take out these highs and still then make a slightly higher high before rolling over. But I'll put it on the list. Particularly if the market starts to roll. Apple, they said they had their first weekend of sales. That thing ripped with a Cook opening the new store in New York, negated that gap down. Tesla, we have a covered call. My up alarm went off. So I moved the stop to Friday's low. Yeah, I wrote down this Qualcomm. I didn't hear, Greg, that they said they were wanting to buy it out, but I wasn't listening. I just heard they had talking about some deal. It's potential bottoming pattern. I actually shorted puts on Intel on Friday on this blast off. 30-minute high maybe. Boeing still has its strike going on. We have a bear put debit spread. I have an alarm 153-ish. If it takes out Friday's low, I think it should start accelerating lower. So we had green bar ignored breakdown here. We have all week was bearish price action. We got a weekly, monthly breakdown with a price void. Siri, remember I mentioned this on Thursday, being a Climo buy setup. We'll see if that can stabilize. Look at Piton. I don't know why I looked at this, but it's bullish daily, weekly. This thing used to be $160 during COVID. People riding their bicycles in their living room. But the chart says this is a place to enter. So I think that's worth nibbling. Let me go through alarms here. I have a huge list. WDC up alarm. WGS alarm went off, but that's a false alarm. I had a 43 alarm go off. We have a half lot on this and sold some in the strength. LDOS breakout up alarm. The put spread idea. AMD continuation pattern for put spread idea. HCA. My alarm went off. That looks like a false alarm. Let me reset it. But that's a breakout trade. That one's from Alex. SFM from Alex. Buy setup. Like the bottoming tail. There's nothing wrong with buying this as a swing. I actually, whenever I see a pattern, I go to the option table just to see if they're liquid. to buy calls and or puts instead of the stock. And I know, and it was too spread, A plus too expensive. So I gave it as a 195 put spread idea. The only downside is it's 4 weeks to expiration. So you can swing it too. Axon, alarm, continuation breakout, bullish weekly monthly, RCL, up alarm, another put spread. Looks like it's coming in. Let me reset my alarm. Dunking. Dunking this, believe it or not, was in the prior week's advisory ladder, and it never triggered, and it's still valid. Still valid. Over the highs. NTNX came from Alex. Now this, pro gap on earnings made the turn. When these come in, I have no idea where's going to make the turn. I mean, it did it above the 200. There was no support, so it just created that turn in midair, which is fine. Look at that beautiful weekly buy setup. Monthly is a 1, 2, 3. So these are beautiful multiple time frame alignment. Levi, this is Sam's favorite jeans. Continuation breakout into the void. And I think that's it. So those are all my alarms that went off pre-market. They all look good. See, so even though we got a neutral bias on the broader markets, look at all these beautiful setups I just showed you all. And XBI, let's just now go through my watch list. So XBI broke out, pulled back, broke out weekly, broke out monthly. So that looks great. Oh, the stock to the bottom right. My alarm went off over Thursday's high. This is a put spread idea. 76.15. Let me set my alarm because it went off earlier. So yeah, I think we're gonna have a busy Monday morning. All right, where did I leave off here? OG, Sam I am trade. Beautiful buy setup here with a 180. That's a beautiful buy setup that we could teach 8-year-old little Johnny. So that looks great. Adobe had positive Barron's article, but no pattern, but we'll watch it. AMD, we talked about PayPal. Greg talked about this in this weekend long video. It's been on my core long watch for a long time, like like a year and a half, and I think we're getting close. Let's see if it can bobble around for a few days. The stop's going to be under that Wednesday's low, so it's a tier 2, meaning you look fantastic. Well, it's actually a tier 1 for a core, but I need to work my daily entry. Southern breakout idea. Talk about those. Triple M breakout. I have an alarm. Let me set an alarm on the big computer. Just eyeballing 134.90. Remember this thing had blowout earnings? That was that igniting gap. Greg, this is, you know what? This is a great gapper. I'm gonna put in I'll put in our next gap MT live to illustrate that all big gaps don't have to be filled. Look at the size of that gap. And it looks like it did not even trace a penny. That is absolutely amazing. And to boot, closed with a friggin' monster wide range bar. All right, see what's going on. There's Levi, KMI. It's top of the range. I think this was you, Sam. But it just needs to go sideways. Give me a couple more bars. Herb looks fantastic, similar to MTNX. It made the turn after a pro gap. Buy setup weekly. Daku alarm just went off. Daku alarm. This one's daily, weekly, monthly, and alignment. And I gave a half lot. We were watching it for the last couple of days. DVA, it's bullish as can be, daily, weekly, monthly. It's just getting far from the 20 and the 50s, my only concern. Bumble will be a short. Qs we know about, it's okay, is similar to Qs, obviously. Race, they talked about. No, Sam, not that race. I know you're, thinking woke. No, race, the Ferrari. Barron's was talking about discretionary stocks, luxury stocks. And that's a bullish gap with another buy setup. It's not ready, but keep an eye on it. T2, I got a positive Barron's. Like, no, Greg mentioned this to me as bearish, but there was no premium for a call spread. MSI is bullish. It's a bull rectangle. Look at this big old flagpole. Look how it all started from this 180 breakdown failure. Wow. BMY is bullish. Big old bull rectangle. LDOS, closing breakout, Coke. That would be a good put spread, but no juice. AMBA. If this has to get over Thursday's high, and then it has a void, 59 to 60. Axon, we know about. I talked about a couple of these. Hey, we entered Narig, I think. This is one of these energy utility stocks. They became in play on Friday with the announcement with CEG and what was it, Apple and Microsoft or whatever. So this one we sold a put spread, and Greg scanned the sector. There's a couple others here in the sector I'm going to watch. 4 U's, URA, NLR, and LEU. Those are all in the sector that we're going to be watching. BMY alarm just went off. GE alarm. Okay, OG. BMY. So I got to focus on, always open positions, and then secondarily new trades that are gapping over the entry. All right, BMY is not ready. So triple M alarm went off. Yeah, triple M looks great. Milko up alarm, we're already in it. So I will just raise my alarm. Yeah, triple M looks great. Maybe we buy a 5-minute high. But particularly on Mondays. Hey, BA new low. I might have got filled on my Intel puts. I heard a bell. I was bidding 8 cents. Yeah, I'm out of my Intel puts at 8 cents. I sold them for 22 on Friday. So I'll take it. Boeing new low. But as a general rule, I don't trade in the first 5 minutes, but on Monday, it's just a rule of thumb. You develop rules through experience. I kind of like waiting 10 minutes on Mondays. That's because you got more weekend overhang. So triple M long watch, I just gave to Telegram. All right, Boeing new alarm, so we can tighten our stop. Protect our gains. How about over 155? Oh, really? Did that just come out, or was that known for a day or two? Really? Wow, Piton came slamming it. Hey, Ribbon, Alex. Told you got out too early, buddy. Nice, Ribbon. Let's move stop over this pre-market high. And let's cover, let me see what I can, hold on. I forget where my second target was. Next one, third target. 1150. So it made the next third target. Very nice. That was a beautiful setup from Alex on Friday. And do you all see how it just met my 1/8, 1/3 of a second test as soon as he gave it to me and I pulled it up on Friday? I'm like, absolutely. Wait, that's wrong. It's 1198. My bad. 1198 is a stop. Tesla ripping up alarm. Milko. Right. We're in trail mode. Looks fine. Tesla up alarm. It's great. We have covered a call. Up a little now, 248. What's the news on Tesla? That's the best thing today. It's ripping. SMH doing nothing. All right, what'd you say, Alex? CTOS? That to me has to get over Thursday's high, but I will set an alarm. I'll set an alarm. Well, okay. Because I was going to say, why disregard? But you answered it. M10MM. All right, this Navos Marine. Yeah, we have a half lot of Navos Marine. Navos. That's a nice name, isn't it? Let's buy half over. Well, it's been triggered. NMM. Yeah, we have a half a lot. Let's buy half over 30-minute high. 758. Stop. Tesla Dragon capsule? The hell is that? Octa? All right, Octa, I gave a put spread. Let me give it to you. I posted a pre-market. You know what? I gave the wrong. There's no way this is going to be 58 cents. I gave the wrong SMCI alarm, Alex. Remember we said which way is it going to break? Octa 74, 72. Strike 25. Yeah, I get the wrong ones pre-market. All right, let me go through all these alarms that went off. All right, RCL triggered. Let's see where the put spread is. And PayPal's moving. I think we got to do a half lot, maybe. I was gonna sell naked puts too, but they were not very juicy, unfortunately. 167, 162. Yeah, we're not getting the premium yet. 80i, SMCI. All right, so this is a go. If I said we're gonna sell naked puts. 420s. Four twenties, 310 by 350. And I said 335. So yeah, that's right there. That's some ceiling. I'll catch up on these later. All right. Yeah, I mean, I would love 30-minute high. Markets are doing nothing. So I'm not in a rush, but it's on the list for sure. Yeah, 30-minute high. Let me put it in this bottom right. But yeah, looks good. Outfit, Tesla, Boeing, Milko. I think I got everything. Those alarms. Let me look at pre-market alarms now. All right, SFM was a put spread, so it's fine if you're filled. Levi triggered. Wait, did it? 2029. No, it didn't. Let me reset the alarm. 2032. Okay, cool. So it did not trigger yet. We got NTNX. Let's buy over the high now. Well, over 61. That was my entry, right? No, it's over 60.90. So let's change it to over 61. Now this is a bio though, I think. So FYI, don't be crying. Not? Ah, you're right. It was some other stock in my list here. All right, cool. All right, I got the alarm. Like triple M, bottom right. I see I'm in a new thing. Axon triggered. Dunking. Dunking. All right, so that's a go on Let's pull back. RCL should get filled on this pullback. All right, OG on that pullback. WDC, same WDC, and Kodaku. Actually, Daku, I think was clean. HCA was a gap and go. So that's okay in the pullback. WDC. That was good to go. That looks great right now. Wow, the puts are juicy on WDC. I'm gonna sell the 66s. 66, 63. I guess what did I get? 67 cents. But I don't mind taking assignment. So that's how I traded WDC myself. Our NRG is 40. Oh, thank flew. I'm trying to get out at 35. No film. What is this? Botex up a line. Yeah, this one's official. Yeah, we had a lot of trades triggered today. Yeah, looks higher. Yeah, I think it can go up $5 from here, Alex, if the market holds. Netflix just popped here. If it closes like this, put spread idea. Tesla, we should have a nice open profit now. We're short the 260 calls with our, no, 265, and we're long at 236. So we have a nice open gain. Nice trade there. India, still weak. This has been a fantastic call spread. And we have the Qs and SMHs.